you started Ocasio the game after she gave up that grand slam that went ahead in the game. Are you trying to kind of challenge her and maybe get her ready for some of the tougher games coming up in SEC play and towards the end of the season?
No, I think the main thing is that we felt like she gave us the best chance. And none of our pitchers really threw great. Lauren and Alicia didn't throw great in relief this weekend. We haven't had great relief out of any of them so far this year. And I say that I think Alicia and Lauren have all given up runs in relief. Both of them have now given up home runs in relief. So we haven't had great relief pitching out of them yet. Whether that's just an acquired kind of a role, or if that's something that is going to be more that we'll see down the road, and it's something you got to kind of do it to kind of figure that out. But I think overall, Alicia, we felt like gave us the best chance. She pitched a good game on Sunday. Obviously didn't have enough to finish because we gave away too many outs, and maybe she had to give up too many hits and other things. But I thought she still pitched pretty solid, especially for a kid who's a freshman who's pitching high school ball this year last year at this time.
And what are some of the things you guys are going to try to focus on in practice this week? Is it going to be situational hitting, situational pitching?
We've got a lot of things. The main concern that I have is that you take this weekend and you don't try to magnify too many things that didn't go our way. As great as LSU played, and they played great. They played a great weekend. Whether that's because of them or whether that's because of us or a combination of both, they played a great weekend. And I'm not going to over magnify things and say, hey, we've got to do so many things different. We are going to have to do so many things different throughout the rest of this season to finish off the season the way we want to. But I don't know that we can really kind of flip our team and go 180 for this next weekend. We've got some pieces that we have to improve on. Overall, everything. The defense wasn't as good as it needs to be. The offense wasn't as good as it needs to be. The pitching wasn't as good as it needs to be. The leadership wasn't as good as it needs to be. The communication wasn't as good as it needs to be. The coaching wasn't as good as it needs to be. So I think everything has to improve, but we can't do that in 1, 2, 3, and 4 days. It's going to have to be something that we're going to have to do over the long haul, and we will. I mean, that's what you do when you play good teams. You get humbled a couple times and you figure some things out. As great as LSU played this weekend, we're 3 pitches away from taking 2 out of 3. So whether that's 3 pitches on our side or 3 pitches on their side, we're 3 pitches away from taking 2 out of 3 from, in my opinion, a disastrous weekend for us. And I think a lot of that had to do with how well LSU did play.
How important is it to get some of the pitching staff, like Delaney or Lauren or Alicia, all 3, back in the circle this weekend and have them bounce back after this past weekend? If
this was baseball, I'd say, yeah, we got to run them out there as quick as possible and figure out how to get them in. But this is softball. They're all 3 going to pitch this weekend, so they're gonna have to do it. Now whether we decide to go with with Alicia and Lauren and have Delaney come out of the pen and see if that doesn't help her get her confidence where she needs to be. I'm not sure yet. Delaney and I will sit down and have a conversation about that in the next couple days, just to get her on the right track. I mean, the bad part is I left her out there for 9 runs. The good part about we have confidence in her. We need her to figure it out and do things that we know she's capable of doing, and we have a complete amount of confidence in her that she can do it. She makes one more pitch and she gets out of there with 1 run on Saturday, and we couldn't stop the bleeding. We couldn't get her, get it done for her. But we have confidence in her, and if this team is going to be a great team at the end of the season, we're going to need that that left-handed pitcher to be really on top of the game.
Obviously, losing is never fun, but you alluded to it, like there's always lessons to be learned. Do you kind of see this past weekend as a reality check of some sorts?
Yeah, and I still look at the whole body of work. We're 28-2. We're 7-2 against ranked opponents. And if you throw in the other 3 games that we beat NC State team who had been ranked, we've played a pretty good schedule. We've beaten some pretty good teams. We are a pretty good team. We happen to run into also another pretty good team, and I think there are some lessons, and we're learning them. Whether or not our offense is too one-dimensional with the right-handed bats in the middle of the lineup the way it is, go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think is how it goes, left-handed or right-handed. We got to maybe change up some things. Maybe we're asking too much of of certain people in our lineup. Maybe we need to, maybe we need to play them 2 out of 3 games, or maybe we need to readjust some things, or give another kid another chance to go at it for a couple games in a row, as opposed to just kind of spotty coming in, coming out. I thought we got some good swings out of Janelle Wheaton over the weekend, and Chelsea Herndon off the bench. So, Brianna Little's been doing a good job, been very solid for us right now. So, Bailey Castro, as of Sunday, had a consecutive on-base streak of maybe 20-some games. So, it's really hard to panic, and we're not going to panic. But I think there are some buttons that need to be pushed here over probably the next 6 games to just get a clear identity of what we want to kind of strive to be.
And then I know you don't like to delve too much on what the opponent does, but in general terms, how is this Alabama team different from that team you guys saw last year?
Well, just when you say maybe they're not going to hit as many home runs as the LSU team hit over their season, Alabama's a very similar team. They've got I want to say 6 left-handed bats in the lineup. They've got some power, some speed, some triple threat type hitters like the 2 hitters that we saw from LSU that did the bunts and slaps and can also hit with some power. So they're very dynamic. They've got some really good players, some good athletes. Going to be a lot like LSU in that if good things are going for them, they're going to be able to build and capitalize and make you, almost, not I don't want to say embarrass isn't the right word, but they can embarrass you with what they can do. You play them in, they hit it over your head. You play them back, they hit it in front of you. You play your corners tight, they slap it past you, or they bunt it in front of you if you're deep. So they have a lot of multi-dimensional athletes and hitters in their circle, and they got 3 pitchers on their team, and the 3 pitchers in the circle that are doing some really nice things too.
You think there's going to be any extra motivation for Alabama because you guys beat them for the national title last season?
I think when you play Florida and Alabama, there's always a lot of intensity that goes into it. They've done a good job. They've got a great program. We've got a great program. We have players that were recruited by both programs, have seen both programs playing some big, meaningful games on TV before. So I think there will be some motivation for them, but they're always motivated. Going to Tuscaloosa, try to tell me the last team that's gone into Tuscaloosa and beaten them 2 out of 3. It's been very difficult to do for any team in the SEC, let alone outside the SEC. A very tough place to play. They play very well. They're very equipped to do a lot of nice things.
You guys dropped to number 3 in the rankings. Do you guys still kind of feel like maybe you have the abilities or talent to stay number 1 or be number 1?
Yeah, I didn't even know that we were 3. Or honestly, we were number 1. Here's the thing: we won 34 consecutive games. We haven't lost a game since last May. We've got a tremendous program and a tremendous team, and the rankings don't matter at all. I don't know very many teams that have played the schedule that we've played and done what we've done and been able to sustain what we've been able to sustain. So to answer your question, there's no panic here. We just have to try to figure out how to beat Alabama. And I think I love the challenge. My team will love the challenge. We may not be good enough to go in to beat Alabama 2 out of 3, but I can tell you right now, if we're down 9-0 or if we're up 9-0, we're going to continue to keep on plugging and keep on trying. My team does not roll over, not for anybody. And, we're not going to really worry about the paper rankings because that's really what they are. I've played a lot of those teams that are ranked, and, any one of those teams can beat any one of those teams on any given day. And, we're just going to go out and play.